there are absolute times where we need to break because our body can't handle it. So fitness is one of these things where there is absolutely a time where we have to pull it literally because your adrenals do not have the capacity or your gut does not have the capacity. So you're just honestly wasting your time. Hey there, I'm Bria, and welcome to the Period Whisperer podcast. If you're over 35 and ready for real answers about your hormones, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and stay with us. Hey there, sister. Welcome back to the Period Whisperer podcast. It is June. How are you feeling in your body? And maybe you're not listening to this in June because there's a lot of podcast episodes here, but no matter when you are listening to this, I think this is going to still be relevant. But we're talking about it is June. For part of the world, this means that summer has begun. For some, it means summer is starting. For others, not that. But for those of us in this time, I want to ask you, how are you feeling in your body? The answer to this, in fact, the question, asking yourself this question, this is the key to your results long-term in your body, to how you feel, to balancing your hormones, all of your hormones, not just your sex hormones. Listening to the messages that your body gives you, not just ignoring them, which is what we have been taught our entire lives as women, to ignore what our own body says to us, ignore the hunger, ignore the soreness, ignore the uncomfortable feeling that you're getting. Ignore that you're tired and just push through, right? We have been drilled and conditioned into that. And I'm asking you to stop doing that by asking yourself this simple question. How are you feeling in your body? Me, June, overwhelmed. I have learned that if I start to notice that I am only looking forward to Fridays and the weekends, if I stop feeling good in my workouts, like I start my workout and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can get through this workout, which was different from when I was maybe in my 20s and just learning to work out. So if you've been an avid fitness person and you're like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to do this, and they're starting to feel like a drain. I know that if I'm constantly feeling rushed, if I'm constantly feeling short on time, if my body is constantly feeling a little tight, if my wife has to constantly come up and pull my shoulders up behind me so I'm not slouched over because this is how I get when I'm a little stressed. I know if my sleep starts to suck, I know that I have to pay attention, that I'm ignoring messages. And again, this is how we've been conditioned, so it's not something I think we should feel badly about. Just something we need to be aware of, that we are very outside of our body and we need to get into it. Because if we don't pay attention, things get ugly. Because in my age box, which we all are in, listening to this podcast, so if you are over 40 or over 38 even, and maybe even over 35, and you are, 55 to 60, you are in my age box. We no longer have the same hormonal buffer that we used to have. That is what perimenopause changes in us, when our hormones shift and get bajiggity, and then eventually our ovaries retire. Maybe we can get some great benefits from hormone replacement therapy. This is not that episode. I'm just talking about the reality that in this stage of life, when we have aging parents and children at home and peaking careers or attempting to peak careers or whatever you're trying to do in career, changing careers, when we have all of these things going on, our sex hormones, which are a buffer for us for stress, is waning like the moon. And I know this because if I don't listen to my body, there are, and maybe you'll recognize this in yourself, there are 3 to 5 days every month if I have ignored, if I've stopped paying attention and life has gotten a little full, a little too full, and I haven't honored that, my body in that journey. There are 3 to 5 days every month before my period where I feel like I don't wanna get out of bed, where I feel like I am a complete failure sometimes. That's that inner dialogue. It's like where the ugly can come out because the good doesn't have the energy for it anymore. which is pretty much right now of the month for me. So, heads up on this episode, there is no hormonal buffer today. So, it was being in this little pocket and reminding myself of this and attempting to start a workout this morning that I was like, I had to look at my period app and I'm like, my period's due tomorrow. No, I'm not doing this workout today after I got about 15 minutes into it. That has inspired this episode and really this little mini series that I'm going to do this whole month with podcast episodes that I'm going to make tight and short and sweet and designed to help you make quick decisions to give you less on your plate that are still impactful for you. Because as we head into these summer months, if this is your life, maybe you are like me and you have teenage children transitioning into high school, transitioning into college, and all of not just the emotion, but the administrative work that comes around with that. I know I have clients going through this right now. There is a lot. There's their emotions. There is my emotions. There is all the administrative work. There's the thought about the money that's going, and that's going to be different for everyone. But on top of that, there's also this false feeling like, oh, okay, well, I'll have a little more time, so I'm not going to be doing school runs or drives, or maybe your sports, all the sporting events that you've been doing with your kids, maybe that quiets now for you. For some people, it picks up. But we might think we're going to have a little bit more time and flexibility, but it is false because inevitably, I know for me, it means, and my kids are teenagers, so they don't demand a lot, but they're around. So they might need things occasionally here and there. The schedule is less predictable. There's more travel happening. I care about where they are. I don't always know where they are the same way. At school, we know when they're starting, we know when they're ending. There's more routine and consistency. So for me, this summer feels like a lot, like the ground is shifting beneath me, like nothing is going to solidify and probably until well into the fall next year. And I can feel myself every day aware of the emotional impact of that, but as well as thinking about, okay, I'm grasping for ways to find flagpoles and steady myself in this journey. So maybe that's your life as well. Maybe you're feeling that way. Or maybe you're like one of my best friends who still has littles. And that means the summer is like, okay, did I organize any camps? They're going to have people home all day that need my attention. I'm still going to have to try to get some work done in here or organize childcare or organize play dates or, are my kids having a wonderful summer? All like the mom guilt that comes around these things. Regardless, there is more, I think, that happens in summer when routines are gone. And maybe you have handled that really well, but now as you're in midlife, like I am, again, that hormonal buffer has slipped a little bit. So we have these days, and maybe these longer than days times, which are messages from our body that, okay, it's time to look a little deeper. It's time to look at what's happened that require us to be that CEO of our body and take a step back and look at the fact of the matter of our female body going through this transition right now is that it will always, and you'll hear me say this again and again and again. So if you're new to the podcast, I'm going to drive it home right now. Everything in your health, mind, body, and soul, is going to come down to energy in versus energy out. And a lot of us as women have burned through our trust fund of energy storage that we were given as kids, as babies when we were born, because we have redlined it for too long, taking advantage probably of our youth and not listening to our bodies. Not everyone. There are some people, I don't usually work with those people. They don't come to me. They don't need my help, that haven't burned through that. But most of the high achieving, driven women that I work with have burned through that. And now we are here without this hormonal buffer. And we're literally feeling like we're buffering. You know, that feeling where you're like in and out a little bit, like a TV show that where the internet's sketchy on, or you're on a call trying to communicate with someone and it's just not happening and it gets frustrating and you get stuck. We are buffering. So if you are buffering like I have been lately, then I think this episode is for you. Today, we're going to talk about when it's time to take a break, and I'm going to call it like Ross and Rachel style. I will explain that to you with fitness because you might need to and why that might be. So, first of all, I'm going to explain the Ross and Rachel. I'm sure, being in my age box, I'm sure you watched Friends. I'm sure you remember the whole "we were on a break" situation where I think Ross was in the wrong. They were on a break, not a breakup. And even if they were on a breakup, what makes it okay to just go out and sleep with someone else? What does that say about your feelings for someone? I digress. So, this is not a situation where if we go on a break where what we need to do is go and busy ourselves and get productive with something else. This is a time where we need to create more space for ourselves. So let's talk a little bit about why you would ever even go on a break, because I know some of you out there are like, I don't even need to listen to this podcast. I'm not breaking up with fitness. I have clients that come to me that are like, I know you're going to tell me to stop working out and I can't do that. And I'm like, how's that workout working out for you right now? Here's the thing. There are absolute times where we need to take a break because our body can't handle it. And there are times where we strategically do it in the name of this energy in and energy out capacity that we're having. So there might be many reasons why you are, and I'm going to talk about those right now. But for me, the main reason why I need to take a break from fitness for the bulk of the summer is because of this energy supply and demand. Because the energy is shifting, the demand of me this summer is getting bigger. I'm already feeling it. And I think it's very telling. If you want to learn a little something about yourself, pay attention in those 3 to 5 days of a month where you feel irritated by a lot of things, because that will tell you where you need to work. It will. And yet the problem is then we have this estrogen rise again and we're like, everything's fine now. And we don't ever do that work. We don't ever, let ourselves be edgy enough because we have that estrogen rise. But that little pocket of space where we don't have the hormonal buffer tells us exactly where we're needing energy supply and demand support in our body specifically. Not the deep, dark thoughts where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure and everything's awful, but the feeling of like, I don't have enough time for the things that I'm doing. The feeling like I am exhausted and don't want to push through this workout. The feeling like I just want to hide in my bed. Like I can't accomplish these things, like my brain is not functioning. Those are all signs from your body that it doesn't have capacity. And when we allow that to stay that way, when our hormones rise again, that's ignoring the problem, and it's damaging. It's like short-term gain for long-term pain. What we want is to deal with this pain in this moment, this discomfort of like, I don't have enough time and capacity, and think, how do I change that? Maybe we don't think about how to change that in those dark moments because sometimes we really just need to curl up in our bed or have a hug or binge watch old episodes of Friends. But when that estrogen rise, the strategy, the CEO mindset needs to kick in and say, okay, I understand that there was a pocket of this month where I just felt like the world was crumbling around me. What did that tell me? And what can I do to set myself up for greater success next month? Not all the more things you need to do, but what do I need to take off my plate? What did I learn about those moments? So fitness is one of these things where there is absolutely a time where we have to pull it literally because your adrenals do not have the capacity or your gut does not have the capacity. So you're just honestly wasting your time. And I think you know that. It's like if you are drained at the end of a workout, if you do not have energy consistently throughout to get through your day, if you can't recall words often, if you aren't sleeping through the night, if you're not getting in your 100 grams of protein because it feels too hard for you, there's some signs. Don't have the capacity. So why would we take a break from fitness? And again, Ross and Rachel style, we are not taking a break just to go. This is not to go and like flirt with other fitnesses, other fitness modalities. This is to create capacity and thought and be strategic around that next move and hold space and think, how do I really feel? That was the break that Rachel was creating. Tell me I'm wrong here. Before I go into the different reasons, I do want to define fitness versus movement. Most of us, myself included, spend a lot of time in sedentary jobs now. Our human engine, our human body is not designed for that. So, getting out for walks daily, like making sure you're working towards those 10,000 steps, and maybe that sounds like an arbitrary number, but it's a number that helps us understand the minimum capacity that our body should be moving in a day. It does not include like movement. Functional movement means we have to stretch and expand and move. So whether that's stretching, whether that's yoga, whether that's mobility work, all of those things are basic, bare bones, kindergarten, human kinetic fundamentals that our body just needs most of the time. Doesn't have to be perfect. Fitness is what I like to call for luxury bodies. Yes, putting on lean muscle by weight training is the gold standard. It's what we want to be doing pockets of the year to wrap our bodies in armor so that we are prepared for aging, so that we age more gracefully, so that we have more hormonal production. We want that, of course. And we don't get to just have that because, right? It requires more than just regular capacity in a body to be able to do those things. So there are, I think, three key reasons that we would break up with fitness. Number one, we talked a little bit about this already, but because it's costing you more energy than it is giving you. So if you are like I was feeling this morning, my hormones have tanked. I'm like one day before my period should be coming. And even though I gave a little extra time to sleep, even though it was Mother's Day last week, and I had some time to sleep a little bit more, even though I have this other time to support myself, I can just feel I don't have it. My work schedule is full, my life schedule is really full, and anytime I go and ask more of my body, invest energy into something that requires energy back, right? Remember, when we put output, when we put athletic demand output, like even going for a run or something that's not a natural human function of everyday life, bending down to pick things up putting things away. Those are normal human functional things. When you are lifting heavy weights and that's not a part of your day-to-day lifestyle because you don't work in construction or whatever it is that might cause you to lift heavy weights regularly or heavy things, you are asking your body to change, which means the body's got to go, whoa, this is a stressor. I need to adapt. Where are my reserves to adapt for that? So if you are finding that you are doing your workout and you do not have the energy to get through your day, that your stress feels way bigger for you, that now you're not sleeping quite as well, you don't feel as rested and restored through your workouts, you're not actually seeing the growth in terms of you're able to lift heavier weights when you're doing your weight training, your workouts are costing you more energy than it's giving you, right? Your workouts should be something that drive your libido a little, right? Like, feeling good, lifted heavy weights, feeling awesome. Your workouts should be something that help you sleep better. They should be something that help you to have better energy and like dopamine and all these great feelings throughout the day. So if those things are not happening, like if you do not have the capacity, then it is time to take a break from your workout until we have built that reservoir, that trust fund of energy back up. Number two main reason it is time to go on a break with fitness is what I'm saying, is that you don't have the actual capacity for it inside of your body, so you're not even getting results. Like, maybe you're actually gaining weight. Maybe you're not seeing the muscle definition at all for you. These are, again, key times that we need to understand, like, oh, maybe I don't even have the hormonal capacity for this. Where's my estrogen? Where's my progesterone? Where's my testosterone? And more importantly, where's my cortisol and DHEA? These are our adrenal hormones that are so critical in this part. Of course, if you are having things like bloating and digestive issues, not a great, I know you want to work out because you want to make your body feel better, but we have to figure out why that is there because you are stressing your body out when your body has the stress. And again, in my age box, less capacity for stress because your hormones are buffering, right? So if you are working out and not getting results, sister, I mean, why are we wasting our time here? Why? It is time to be strategic and ask ourselves, okay, why is this happening? And if you can't answer that, there's your clear sign to get some support. Because if you keep doing what you're doing and not getting results, it's not going to change magically. You don't need to just work out harder. We don't have the tools there to repair. So if what we need is some hormonal support to get there, then we have to figure out, one, why we don't have that hormonal support in the first place, and two, how do we get that hormonal support, and what hormonal support do you need? There's so many different types that are required in order for us to actually get results on the scale, in the mirror, in the measurements, in our body, and putting on that lean muscle armor. I know that today, Todd, these days, people are constantly thinking about weight and talking about weight, and I totally appreciate that. But I really want us to shift this mindset to like weight release. How do I release the unneeded weight so that I can and also be putting on actual muscle? So that's reason number two. And reason number three is that you are working out for the wrong reasons. And look, there's plenty of wrong reasons to do things, but intention really matters here. And I think one of the biggest mistakes a lot of us make is working out for stress management. Oh, you're gonna wanna throw tomatoes, I feel like, at me for that. But here's the thing. Yes, working out can be a great stress management or a great stress reliever, but in terms of at this stage in our life, it cannot be what is managing your stress. It just can't. Walking can be, the functional movement piece absolutely can be, but lifting weights, going for a run, it cannot be. And here's why. Because then you will stop doing the other stress management practices that you need in your life. And if you get injured or something happens or the function is off in your body, it's no longer going to work for you. So it's like putting all of your eggs in one basket, where all of a sudden if you cannot work out, then you get overly stressed. We need stress management tools that you can do in a brief moment at the drop of a hat that don't ask more of you. The metaphor for understanding what stress is in our life is a massive energy demand. Fitness is an energy demand. So using that as a stress management tactic, not the best thing to be doing. We want to create stress management practices in our life that reduce energy demand, not take more energy from us. So we want to be working out when our body has an excess of energy. And if you do not have that right now, because sister, you're sitting in the stage of life that I am, in the pocket of your month at the precipice of summer, feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to handle this whole summer. And if it's not summer right now when you're listening to this, I don't know how I'm going to handle this season. Maybe that's a better way of looking at it, is this season. Then it is time for us to take a little break. Just go on a little break for these next couple of months. 2 months is not that big of a deal. I will tell you, when I was in my hormonal pit of mess, I had to take 4 months off of fitness in order to unwind the mess that I had made in my hormones, in my gut. At 37, now I'm pushing 45. So I'm very aware when it starts to come up, and I want you to be very aware. And it's tricky, right? Because I will tell you, social media sometimes makes me feel, and I'm sure it makes you feel, I hear it from my clients, like I should be training like a pro athlete or like a fitness competitor, right? And especially right now in the summer, all of my ads that are coming at me are like, get ripped for the summer, like abs in 6 weeks, get these results. And this is what is being pounded at us. And listen, I have great social media boundaries. So if this is like the little bit on how I'm feeling, I can't imagine how most people are feeling. But we have these images of people that are super ripped. We have these images of people telling us to do these styles of workouts. That's their job. They are fitness competitors. They are professional athletes. Because if you are someone who your job is fitness, that's a professional athlete. So if someone is selling you fitness, they are a professional athlete, and we need to make sure that they understand the capacity that you have in your life. If they're not asking you, what is all the demand happening in your life? What is your capacity for even going in a calorie deficit? What is your capacity for how well you're sleeping? It is no bueno. It is not a good idea to be listening and following those rules. But we all fall into it, and myself included, right? I've even like clicked on things and almost submitted emails, in the social media, because I'm thinking I should be putting on more lean muscle. And sometimes earlier in my cycle, me thinks this is a great idea, and I start these things. And then as I get later in the cycle, I'm like, wait a second, I don't have the capacity for this. So again, if you're finding that you're snapping at people, that you want to cry, that you don't have the capacity to give to people, that you don't have the time to support your nutrition properly, that you aren't able to sleep through the night, you don't have the ingredients for that level of fitness. You must eat, sleep, and recover like a pro athlete or fitness competitor if you want to be that. And most of us don't have that. And we don't need to, right? If that's something that you want to do, you better take a good hard look at your life and talk to your partner about support, especially if you have kids, because it is a large demand on the body. And if we don't have the capacity to recover from that, it can create a lot of problems in our hormones for sure, which again, already buffering, don't need that time. So little recap. Again, there's three things that I think we really want to be aware of. If you're snapping at people, if your libido's gone, if you don't have the energy, to do things, if you're not getting results from your workout, if your workout is your stress management tool, time to take a little break from it. Um, and here's a little reminder. If you are feeling good, if you are someone that's like, hey, Bria, I'm feeling great right now. Actually, like my workout's feeling good. I am getting results from them. I have other stress management capacities. Please have at it. This is what we want for our body. This is what we're going for. But we need to, take a look at our flagpoles of health. Do I have energy all day most of the days? Am I sleeping through the night most of the nights? Is my digestion good most of the time? You know, have at it if those things are check, check, check for you. Me, I'm about to take a break from my fitness. And I had just ramped up and was like, next 2 months, I'm putting on lean muscle. But I just hit this point now where I'm like, ooh, I am now aware of what's coming down the pipeline for the next 2 months in my summer. And that capacity is not in this body at this time. And I think this is being wise, right? This is wisdom that comes in. I know we think we want to, make these changes and go after these goals, but if weight loss is your goal, movement and nutrition and hormonal support, digestive support, looking under the hood, that will get you there. No, it might not get you a poppin' booty and ripped arms, but first we have to do these underlying pieces before we can even get to the chance that we're going to have abs and a poppin' booty and ripped arms and all of these pieces. So I'm about to take a break because my summer is less structured, right? I have travel. I have kids that need different things at different times, especially through the transitions they're about to go through. There are later nights. And I think setting yourself up for success instead of failure is so important. And remember, a CEO, being the CEO of your body is taking a step back and looking, forecasting strategically at the next quarter, if not year. When are the times that I'm going to be able to give more to this part of my life that matters to me, my health? And when are the times that I'm going to be able to give more to this part of my life that matters to me and is demanding it right now? So I'm reminding you right now to do that as you head into your summer. Have a real conversation with yourself, with your partner. Think about your children if you have them. Think about your work capacity. Think about the travel coming up. Because if you decide that you're going to dive into one of these intense fitness programs right now, and you don't have the capacity, or you're using it as a tool to manage your stress or avoid something else going on in your life, or you don't have the hormonal support for this, you're setting yourself up for failure. Not just the shame spiral that comes with not following through on something or not getting results or feeling like you're not good enough, but in the impact that you have on your hormones that are already buffering right now, right? Spending energy on things that you don't have means poor nutrition decisions, means poor stress management decisions. So for me, I know if I am exhausted, I'm just going to reach for the quick thing instead of cooking myself a proper meal. I know that I'm going to want to drown out watching TV or drown out playing, ridiculous games on my phone or maybe doom scrolling because I don't have the capacity because I spent it on something that's not even giving me a return on my investment. Remember, if weight loss is your goal, You can do that in the summer simply with walking, with playing outside more, with swimming, with dancing, with laughing, the things that I think summer is so rich in for all of us, with being outside more and getting that sunlight and focusing on fresh new foods that you are cooking. That can happen with that piece. And if you have done all of those things and you are like, Bria, I don't know that I believe you, it is time to look under the hood. Remember, if the messages from your body are saying like, I can't poop every day, I'm bloated most days, I am exhausted all of the time, my periods are wonky. Yes, I'm having this really dark spot in my life, but it's not just 3 days of the month, it is now 2 weeks of the month. These are signs that the function in your body may be off more than you're going to be able to handle on your own. So the summer can be a really great time to get some help, to carve out a little bit of time just to focus on you without adding fitness to your routine. So let's take that energy and invest it in something like a CEO to get you where you want to go so that come fall, you can be lifting those weights. You can be putting on that lean muscle, getting the abs you want, popping the booty that you want, building the arms and the shoulders and the back muscles that you want, and protecting the longevity of your body. I want that for you. But most importantly, today, I want you to be that CEO and take a look at the next 3 months of your life and decide what it is that your body really needs for your health in the capacity of the life that you are living at this time. That's how we start to make change, is by looking ahead and being honest with ourselves about where we are, where we want to go, and how long it's going to take to get there, and what help we might need. All right, sister, I hope this was helpful for you in making some quick decisions. Do I need to do this or not this summer? Can I buy myself more time? Where should I focus my efforts? If you need to book a call, this is what I do. Please swipe up, click the link, book a free call so that we can talk about what's going on under the hood. Maybe you don't even need some functional testing. Maybe there's a quick answer for you. And that's the point of these calls, is for us to better understand where you're at and what you really need in order to take your health to the next level so that come fall, come winter, come next summer, you're much closer to where you want to be, if not better than you ever thought. Now, make some decisions, go out, be more in your life and not just less on the scale. And I will catch you in one of the next episodes that we're going to keep down and dirty to give you quick answers for summer in midlife. Talk soon.
If you're 35 plus and ready to stop guessing, start understanding your hormones, and feel your absolute best, hit subscribe. That's what we do here.